Scrapbookers, this week is dedicated to you. I can hear the cheering now. What we're going to feature is scrapbooking classes, and they are each day will be based on a personal shopper. This is a program where you get kind of a pizza box a month full of papers and goodies and a newsletter, and we're going to be focusing on one, as I said, each day, and it's sort of a scrapbooking marathon, you might think.
So today we're going to be focusing on a June scrapbooking classes, personal shopper.
And that was this year's.
That was this
right.
year's, and it's going to have specialty papers, never before seen dazzles, and as always, you're going to get 2 new paper packs.
And by the way, scrapbooking classes personal shopper members get the papers before anyone else, and 12 times a year they get a paper pack that is exclusive for them. So, aren't they special? Come play with us. Okay, well, let's start with the newsletter. So this is what June's look like, and you can see the paper packs. Well, here's all the goodies, and then this is some information about what's going to be covered in the class. So, and by the way, the newsletter is many pages, great big photographs.
All the instructions you need for creating the projects that you can out of this, and this is like having a class right there in your home.
Exactly.
With all the instructions right there.
Maybe even a couple. Okay, we're going to start with the papers because, you know, that's how we are. We love papers. Now, this one was in June, and as I said, members receive them first. So they received the darkroom set that was just released actually in September. They received that back in June, and this is a double-sided set, and you're going to receive 12 sheets, just like a paper pack, and it's just always fun for me to do this little dance of playing with how you can align the papers, because our designers will have done them, you know, one way, but I just think it's kind of nice to see that you can play. And I have to tell you, ever since the graphics team designed this has been a favorite of all of ours.
It's just beautiful, those layers and layers, and that's what they're kind of famous for here, is these layers of texture and colors, and it's just beautiful.
It's gorgeous. And on the back side, there is the scuffing. This is one of my favorites in that it's so useful, so versatile. And as you were saying, Gail, our design team doesn't just go, okay, let's put a teal color and call it good. Right. They have layers. There's depth to all of the papers. Right. In fact, you can see this on this second one. This is a very tone on tone, but look at kind of that modeling that's going on in the back.
What I like about that is that it picks up the different colors in the other papers, not in each one, you know, so there's something a little bit of in each of them.
Exactly.
Something like that.
And
that's the back of that one?
Yeah, there we go.
There.
And we've got, this is actually, if we get in close, it's, the darkroom is the name of it. It's kind of like the iris of a camera, so really pretty. Here it is in tone on tone in the burgundy. And on the back side, we have it a little more poppy with more colors. But again, we've got the distressing, the lights and the darks behind it, just elegant. How fun is this?
That's wonderful.
The text with the cameras.
Old-fashioned cameras down there, just beautiful.
Very neat. And on the back, ooh, gorgeous, ooh, pretty. Okay, and this is more of a tile with that same iris type, kind of with connecting circles there, as you can see. And there's a stripe, and what I love about the stripes is that you can use them, you can cut them apart, use them for borders, and they collect all the elements of all the other papers.
Right, so you see a little bit of everything in there.
Yes, and then the final one is this gorgeous, beautiful.
One of my favorites.
I'd like to have a wall done like that. And then this is text. This time it's on dark, and then there's some kind of gold that is on top of that. Right. So that's one paper collection. The second paper collection is only for members, and we kind of think of it as just this very special one. In fact, we haven't even named it, but I wouldn't be surprised if it turns up in 2015.
So this is one of our signature collections that only come out with personal shoppers.
That's right. So here we go. Again, there's going to be 12 sheets. You get 2 of each that I'm showing you. As again, you can can see that there's more going on than this small kind of wavy pattern. We've got some other elements just to add interest, and we have it in the gold with the burgundy, or excuse me, kind of the tangerine in the back.
And so it's got this great distressed look on some of these.
Isn't that just deep and rich and gorgeous?
Beautiful.
And then the last one is again of the mottled, but this time with 2 of the colors showing.
Right. So what else you're going to get in this personal shopper class or kit is some specialty papers. You're going to get this beautiful blue fireworks holographic paper that you could just sort of, it has movement just when you move it.
Right.
So we do some fun things with that. You're going to get this great hammered gold, and these are 8.5 by 11 sheets. And that's got an actual texture to it. It's a kind of a different color on the back, so you can use both sides if you want. And then this is this blue glimmer. Just got a little bit of shine and shimmer to it. And last, a 12 by 12 specialty paper, which is the silver linen. And this is just a gorgeous, got a nice
Gets used
shine.
a lot.
Yes, it does.
If you have cutting dies and embossing folders, these are fabulous used on
They
those.
work for specialty papers without a problem.
Now, in addition to the specialty papers, there's the sheet of transparencies. You might, acetate is another name. So you can see this great big border, as well as some slide mount looking tags, labels, just a whole variety here. So that's one whole sheet.
And then you get embellishments. You get some of these ribbons, and these are not just run-of-the-mill ribbons. They're specialty ribbons. I see some eyelash in there. Look at that long brown. It's going to be really interesting to see how that's used. You get this sort of a chenille that's a very fuzzy, kind of a purpley look. And then you get some highly useful, like a teal grosgrain. There's a yellow grosgrain in there. And then these neat clips. In this particular kit, it's always going to be different. You know,
Right.
when you open it up, you're going to get lots of different embellishments. This time we have these great metal clips, an @ and an ampersand, and then these great little slide mounts. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4 of the square and 4 of the round.
And I think these are white on the back side, aren't they?
That's
there
right.
You go.
So they can
Double
be used
duty.
either way.
And the Never Before Seen Dazzles, this is the camera set, and this is done in a gold pearl with a silver edge. Just a beautiful look. Maybe it would be nice if I turned it right side up. Do you think?
It's got some great little phrases on there, like "we click," "oh snap," some fun phrases on there.
You can see that border, how
that
gorgeous
field
that
strip
is.
border.
And then there's also, this is the Rad Dad, but it's been done in this blue metallic mirror finish.
Beautiful. So that's the never before seen part. These are
Right.
available in black, but you don't get them in this finish unless you get the never before seen ones.
Right.
And then of course there's going to be in each kit, if you don't already know, 1 card and 1 envelope.
Right. So let's get started on our papers. Now, this is our first double page spread. In fact, they are always done in double page spreads.
Pages,
right.
Yes.
But we're going to focus first on this one, and then we'll bring in the companion. Lots of things going on, and first of all, I want to direct your attention to this little background, this kind of offset mat.
Right, and that's done with the hammered gold paper. So Susan took the hammered gold, which looks like this. She took a black surfaces ink.
Oh, wait, by the way, it's gorgeous on its own.
It is.
Okay.
Beautiful, just like that.
Just wanted to say that.
But it's fun. I mean, the idea is we're teaching a class
That's
here.
right.
So we want to teach you something different. Use it just like that, or if you want to try something different, you get some black surfaces. Because this works well on more than just paper, you can put it on different surfaces, and you just sort of swipe it across.
Now, this will work with a surface ink pad or a StazOn, so
Correct.
either one, and just swipe it over the top, and you will get the erased areas will go black, and what it does is it just adds more dimension. Well, now,
Right.
that's
Yeah.
great, but how do you use it? Well, how about use a little piece of it and offset a mat? And as we back up just a little bit, you can see it's just a little bit larger than our photo. And this has a really nice sized photo on it. You can elect to do that or not. On the right-hand side, we've extended that mat, And we've added just some layers, more of the inked hammered gold.
And then a little tiny strip of the silver linen right there, just the tiniest little strip, so it'll go a long ways.
And actually, that's a nice thing to note, is you're going to see it used several times, and you get a 12 by 12, but I don't even know that you're going to use the whole thing up.
Oh no, there's going to be lots left over in this one.
And then this is a piece of the stripe paper. So adding, just really bringing a lot of attention to this giant photo.
Right.
Should we look at the ampersand?
Let's do that. So there's the ampersand, and now when you get it, it's quite silvery. So it doesn't look quite like that. But Susan wanted to back it with that beautiful silver linen paper. So she decided she had to change the color of that. And the way to do that is with the Surfaces ink pad. So you can use it not just for the hammered gold paper, you can also use it on metal surfaces. I'm going to use tweezers to hold on to this just so I don't get all inky, and you just have to work it. And make sure that you might have to re-ink your pad to make sure that it's dark enough, but I can see it coming off there. And I'm doing it this way. She may have used a cosmetic sponge to ink it on there, but I can see it coming off. It does change the color of it.
So it's nice to know. And there it is, and you can see it's offset or matted on the silver. And these two, the Hope and the Dream, these are part of the transparencies.
So you cut out those little transparencies, and then she set them right on top of that silver linen, and it's just, you know, they look like buttons sitting up above.
They do. Yeah, they look 3D, don't they? But they're flat. And that's something that we're pretty aware of, is we don't want to add too much thickness to our pages unless that's something we've decided to do. Now down here, there's a really nice kind of grouping of items, and I love how that camera is just floating.
Right, and you can see it so well because it's been backed on a different color of patterned paper. And there's a real simple way of doing that. I want to show you in case you're not familiar with backing a dazzle. Go ahead and remove the dazzle of your choice, and they come off fairly simply. And then you're going to stick that right onto a patterned paper. So I've got a piece of this, and I'm going to try to line the edges up a little bit so they don't have to do more cutting than is necessary.
And you're letting that handle float off the edge. That's perfectly fine.
Because it will pick right up
It
wherever
will.
you're working. And then I've got my scissors, and I'm just going to cut around the edges of the dazzle. And that's what we call backing a dazzle. Just very simply cutting around the edges. That I've always found that the dazzles just sort of hug the edge of your scissors as you're going around. When you get up to that handle, you don't want to cut through it, so you can just peel it back out of the way, hold it back a little bit, and just cut underneath it.
And so easy. Then you would put glue on the back of the paper.
On the paper portion of it.
And slip it. And I like how it's just hanging there, kind of at an angle. Made a bow out of the twill.
Like it's been tied on.
Yeah. And so here's our first use of those slide mounts. Now, it's been quite a while since we've seen those.
But they're highly useful. I love that the tiny little photos have been placed in there and used as one piece, so the black side of that photo mount was used. And then just little strips of paper and a silver linen to accent it.
And don't the dazzles look striking? Now that's from that Never Before Seen set. So Just Smile with the heart is right there. And the little bit of the silver linen, both on each side, but also backing yet another of the transparencies, and more, just another little piece of that hammered.
I like that the edges were rounded, and you can do that by just placing something round that you already have, like perhaps one of the edges of one of the clips on there. You can use the edge of a rounded dazzle just for a template. Basically.
Or even the slide mount, because it's got a circle.
I knew that something, just like that. There, put the edge of the slide mount on there, and then you have a shape to cut an edge.
Now the companion page, this page has 3 photos, a giant one, and don't you love it, in the sepia tone, and then 2 more. Now the companion page has two photos, they are more evenly spaced, I mean more of the same size.
Right.
But the same techniques are used, maybe a little simpler.
Right. But you're going to see the same things echoed. So you've got that matted piece back here.
Over on the left, just like the
Right.
other page was.
You've got the acetate or the transparencies that were cut out and matted on the silver linen. You've got backed dazzles down at the bottom. Here's another one of those strips. So you're looking for the same things. You want to tie the two pages together.
And on the other page, the two slide mounts went horizontally. Now they're going vertically.
Right.
It's a nice balance.
It is, and they are framing some of the dazzles
Right.
instead of photos.
And notice on this one, the dazzle goes outside the center frame. That works beautifully.
Sure.
Just works well. Now, we're going to go to Gail's double page spread, and she's done a very different look.
A very different look with a little more distressing. We've got tearing, distressing going on, some sanding going on.
Little edgier, and so nice to have that. So the elements that I'm seeing are a lot of tearing. So you can see that that is done on the edge.
A lot of tearing, a lot of sanding, and I'll sand and edge very well right until the point when it starts sort of tearing on the edges, and I'll even use my fingernails to sort of get it to tear even more if I want more to show.
And when you do an element, it's like in our first double page spread, that inking of the hammered gold, that was repeated throughout the two-page spread. The same thing is done here. That tearing has been echoed with these layers going down to the bottom, and you can see there's the stripe, there's those cameras, as well as two of the others, and kind of uneven. We're really getting a good edge.
So just sort of getting an eclectic mix of photos, and in this case a trip somewhere, and so you've got lots of a camera happy couple there, and I even echoed the sanding onto the photos.
Yes.
So you can see that sanding of all the photos, but you can also see some gold striking out because I really wanted some things to pop and sort of echo the gold of the dazzles. I was able to gild some things. Let's see, in this case, I gilded the edges of those little
The slide mounts.
Slide mounts.
Now you can do that in a couple of different ways. You could, if you had a gold ink pad, you could just swipe it along the edges. You chose to bring in some embossing powder.
Right, embossing powder, which I did on the edges of the slide mounts, and I also did it on one of the clips that was used.
But that's on the next page,
But
so we
that's
won't
on the
show
next
that now.
But what you can see on here is some of the acetate that has smooch on it. So the gold that you're seeing on the acetate was actually smooched, because if you look at those transparencies, they don't come in gold, they come in black.
Now the ones that you used are the smile. So there's the great big smile. And what else have you used?
Well, here's one that says glow. It's
Okay.
just covered with all of these words. So I took the word glow and I smooched it in, and I took the word giggle and I just added some little highlights, and I can show you real quickly.
Okay, why don't you do that?
So on that, what I found is if I did it too much on the front of it, well, actually, no, I guess I decided it worked fine to do on the front.
But you could do it on the back if you were hesitant.
You can do it on the back if you were afraid to move around that black lettering that's on there, but I did it on the front. And for giggle, wherever it is, I just accented them, and you can just do it, just choose an edge. If I'm going to do it on an edge, I'll choose the top and do it only on the tops of all of the little bits that I see, like so, or if I want to do it on the bottom, I'll only do it on the bottom. You don't want to do it all over the place because it would just be too much.
And you don't have to do it. Now the smooch is not part of the kit. So we are giving you some techniques to expand the kit. And smooch is a pretty available product, something that a lot of people might have. But if you don't have it, you don't have to use it. You can just cut out these words. You can take the technique, which is to cut out the words, and you can put them directly onto your paper.
Right.
And if we were doing that,
I'm going to pick this up here so it's got that smooch on there. Going to allow a little bit of drying time.
and if you were to place that on this paper, it's going to show very nicely.
Right.
That's going to do a good job, whether it has the gold or not.
Correct.
But then you decided you wanted to do something else.
Something else. So some other little thing that I thought might make it kind of fun, because the whole layout seemed to me kind of very playful. And so I thought I would echo that in the embellishments. I've got the heat gun, I've got the acetate, I'm holding on to it with tweezers.
And you have tweezers.
Because it's going to get hot, and you just heat it until you get some warping. And it just kind of, and I called it warped words, and it was kind of fun to warp the edges of it, warp the center of it. You have to go back and forth on it. Actually, like, I want to kind of sit it down so I can control it a little more. And really get it to bubble. I'm going to hold it on there until it starts to bubble.
Doesn't take long, does it? Well, as you know, heat guns are about 300 degrees, so you do want to protect your hands.
Right, so I'm not holding on to that with my fingers, but that's basically what I did until you get just about the right warpage that you want, but just a little bit or a lot. There we go. Kind of turned.
And there's your giggle.
Makes it fun.
Now, you elected on your companion page to do even a little more distressing on your giggle. So you can adjust that as you want. The other thing I wanted to point out is how the dazzles are playing in here. So we have the Oh Snap. We've got the camera, no backing, just placing it partly over the photo in an unused area of the photo.
Right.
And I like how you've tucked these in to the torn edges. It just works really nicely.
So it's just like a stair steps and just sort of tuck them in everywhere.
And then because we haven't used all of the hammered gold, you elected just, is this handwritten?
Nope, that's computer journal.
It is, okay.
So I computer journaled and printed it on a laser printer, and it worked just great on hammered gold.
If you're not sure how to do that, you can go onto the paperwishes.com site and go under inspiration, and you'll see Scrapbooking 101, Card Making 101, Stamping 101, and all of them have a video showing how to do the computer journaling. So we don't leave you hanging.
It's a simple process. You just kind of follow it step by step, and it works great.
Now here's the companion page, and I love that stream of the dazzles.
Which was actually backed on acetate. So you've got that transparency there.
A little bit of extra space,
right.
huh?
Backed it on acetate so you can sort of see it. It looks a little bit more like a film strip in that way.
Right, very neat.
Down at the bottom, we've got one of our clips, and this one is totally gold. And I'm just going to tell you briefly that to do that, you've got the clip, you've got Versamark, you just Versamark it, and then I'm just going to swipe it on there.
Oh, you're on the back side.
Was I? Okay.
I think so.
There we go. I'll do it on this side. Just get the Versamark on there, and then you just, I've got gold zing embossing glitter. That's going to be sprinkled right on top of it. So this is gilding, gilding a metal clip. I have tweezers somewhere, and then I'm going to, I would be using the tweezers at this point.
Yes.
I think
Should we find them?
Over there. There we go. To hold on to, and then I would go ahead and use the heat gun on that. So let me grab the heat gun. It's just kind of a different way. If you get something that's one color, you want to change it, you have options for changing it. You could certainly leave it just the way it is without doing this, but I just like, look how quickly it turns.
Or you could hit it if you had a gold ink pad.
Sure, gold stays on, ink pad.
It's just fun to see it in the, with the gilding, as you said.
Right. So there you go. This one, absolutely have to use tweezers to hold on to this.
Yes, please.
Because that's superheating that metal, and that makes it hot. So.
And again, you have that little bit of the hammered gold, more of the computer. I like the Berlin 2014, and just a gorgeous look. Just very, very fun, very unique, and that's nice to see.
And that's part of the classes, and that's why we do the personal shopper classes.
That's exactly right. Now we have two more layouts, and these are done using that second paper collection. And you can see by this double page spread, we've got some significant journaling going on. And quite frankly, I'm happy to see that because
that's great.
Not everyone does it, but really fun.
Well,
and
it's telling a story, and even with the pictures, it's telling a story of this particular day in the snow. And I love that the slide mounts are used. They're cut apart, and they're used to frame photos, to frame dazzles, to frame acetate.
Now, I think it's really a smart idea. I think if I would have done this, I would have thought, well, I'm going to make everything the same size.
Right.
But I like that these matted photos are larger.
Right.
So they're peeking out, and they're every other one.
Right, and they sort of, they larger, smaller, larger, smaller. It really makes a nice impact there. I like the use of papers, too, that they're sort of paper pieced all over. And it's just a eclectic look. It changes wherever you're looking.
Very fun. And the specialty papers, you can see the silver linen,
right.
the blue holographic,
the blue glimmer, and then even a strip of ribbon. So it's used as a border as well.
Almost becomes another specialty
Sure.
paper, doesn't it? Very fun use of those never-before-seen dazzles. You can see how they're playing in with the slide mounts. And then over here, there's the transparency, and I like this going into, you always want to have things going into your layouts so
Right.
that it draws the eye in.
Right, towards the most important photo, which is obviously of Dad and son here. Which
Right.
is just, it's a beautiful way of using.
And actually, that's something else we always try to do, is to have a masculine layout every single month, just
Right.
so that not everything is
Right.
roses and
We're
butterflies.
Very conscious. The designers are conscious of, a family, or maybe a
Right.
birthday. We want to switch back and forth.
As
to
well
make
as
sure.
holidays.
Yeah.
Now, our last double page spread
It's
is
with the
using,
same papers.
It is, and this is doing some very fun things with circles.
It does. Now, using the photo mounts, you can actually use them as a template.
Or the slide mount.
The slide mounts as a template to cut out circles out of paper.
Right.
So you've got that. You can use that over and over to cut out lots of different circles, and it's just a very cute look.
And look how fun that adds to the page. As you're turning it, you can see that with the specialty paper.
Right. I love that. Here's this tiny little camera dazzle, and just the flash portion has been backed with that specialty paper.
Very fun. That darling photo also going
Right.
on. Little dazzle in the corner.
Don't be afraid to cover up your photos a little bit. It adds interest. It really adds to it. Up here, this photo has been laid on top of the corner of that photo, so it just helps to draw your eye around the page.
Now, this is one of the transparencies. Let me bring it in
Right
so you
here.
can see it. Giggle right there. So that's just been cut out.
Right.
And a strip of the glimmer paper behind it. So it has the popular pennant look
Right.
that's going on.
Just put a little bow on top. That's very cute.
Speaking of overlapping, we've got more circles and the dazzles coming in nicely and going down with these that have been inked with white on the edges.
Silver, I think.
Oh, silver?
Yep,
Okay.
silver.
Very nice.
So a little silver stays on, and here's more of the, a lot of these
Right.
transparencies were laid right over that silver linen paper because
Very
it's just such
pretty.
a great look.
And as we back up, and as you were saying, a great use of mixing the papers, just a beautiful look. This is the left-hand page. Here is the right-hand page.
Okay, now you notice that on the left-hand page, can we bring that in just for a second? You've got this nice big strip of this very busy paper here, and on this one, we've turned a busy paper striping this
horizontally.
way.
So
Right.
we've got the vertical and the horizontal play.
And then lots
as-
more of those banners here too. Oh, look at
Yeah,
that.
well, just to see
Yeah.
that's a balance that it works really, really well. And we've got a square here, we've got a big rectangle here, the vertical, the
so
horizontal.
they don't have to be exactly the same. It's okay to, because then this can stand alone all by itself as well.
Well, and I guess I have a preference. If they're identical, I think it's a little boring, personal preference. I think to mix it up a little bit, but carry the same elements. It's kind of
Right.
like the front of a card and the inside.
Right.
You carry some of the elements, but they're not identical. But the circles, that's carried over. Of course, the slide mounts are carried over, and the pennants, as you started to say when I
Right.
interrupted you.
So more of the pennants on that specialty paper, more of the dazzles overlapping the circles that were cut out from the pattern paper, from the specialty paper, so you're seeing some of the same elements.
Right, just lovely. That's the transparency. That's a transparency. So it's really used quite a bit.
Now here's two of those little slide mounts, and what we have is one of these here that was used, and you can cut them apart right in the center. They're scored there, so you can cut them apart. Then you can glue one of these right to the back of one of the specialty papers. You can glue that on there, cut out around the edge, cut the center out, and you'll have that little slide mount.
That's exact.
Covered slide mount.
So just like that, both in the, again, using the specialty papers. And again, just to notice that we're using the specialty papers not in one fell swoop. We're really getting our money's worth because they are more expensive. They run about $2 a sheet. So you want to make sure that they're, you know, you're getting your buck's worth.
Yeah, make them go as far as you can.
Yeah, even if they come in a kit. So that's fun. And here is the card, and this is just delightful, I think.
It's wonderful. I love that this, all of the dazzles here, they've been backed on black cardstock, and then they're just floating over that specialty linen paper.
Foam taped right on top. You can see the pattern paper and the holographic. And Rad Dad, and then we always show you the inside of the cards too. So that's what we have for our June 2014 class. Now we're not going to show everything in all of the other kits, but I did want to show you something that we're offering with this kit, and that is an extra edition of these darkroom dazzles in our favorite metallic copper.
That metallic copper, which just really makes those cameras stand out, and those it's got those big long borders. There's a lot of dazzles in this package.
Right, as a matter of fact, 115. So that is a special with the kits for during this webisode.
And they are perfect for scrapbooking. They've got lots of scrapbooking type messages and motifs, but they're great for card making too.
Now before we leave, I just want to show you another kit. This goes back to May of 2014. In May, they received the honeysuckle papers, which were just released again.
But new to the scrapbooking personal shopper.
Yes.
First, always.
And this one is all about flip-flop fasteners, cork, and over 100 die cuts. In addition, there was a second paper set that was only done for this club, and it's called A Child's Play. And it's just a very fun, playful, bright combination. Again, there are 2 sheets of each.
All right, so you've got those, you've got the honeysuckle papers.
And I thought it might be fun just to briefly show you how this was done. So flip-flop fasteners are clear plastic pieces, kind of like butterfly Band-Aids. And you can use them to create layering like this, and you can see cork was used in this kit.
Right, so that was cut out in this nice edging shape, which you get templates for these sorts of things within the kit. You might get an innie or something like that with it. So a mini template.
And this is using, as I said, there are 100 die cuts that coordinate on both sides. And just to show, again, how you bring the same elements into both sides. This happens to be 2 brothers, so they each get a page, and they're both absolutely charming. Here is another wedding using, and this is also the flip-flop fasteners, how you can add even more photos.
So a different way of using that.
Computer journaling on the cork.
On the cork, that's amazing.
This is, and as you said on the ribbons, here is just a spectacular ribbon. It's wide, it's got these glittery dots. You don't see that every day. Nice to have that and to show the die cuts.
And within this class, in a box, basically, you're getting how to ink cork, so you can change the color of the cork. That's one of the things you'll be learning.
And here is the flip-flop fasteners doing something else that's quite fun. Here are more of using that painted cork, how to do some things like that.
You're seeing the embellishments that are included in the kit.
Yes, and how charming and how neat that with the flip-flop fasteners you can show those, and
there are so many different ways to use it.
And even on the card. Very, very fun. So that was the, what did I say? That was the May kit.
That was the May kit, which is also May on the odd month kits. They are actually a video, a downloadable video of what we've shown how to use that kit. Right,
so Gail and I walked through all of the steps in really more detail than we've been able to show you here.
Right.
So that's our day 1 of this Scrapbooking Classes Week of Webisodes. Please join us tomorrow. We'll have more goodies and more techniques.
Promise.